Welcome to the final Make It, Take It podcast on this Wednesday, April 24th. How are you guys doing?
I love this. Last time I was heckling you for not asking how I was doing, and this time you got right into it. You kept the intro brief. You wanted to see how we're doing. It was kind of a little bit of a sleepy Wednesday, but now the vibe is good. Jason pushing the buttons, man. He had some incredible music with 30 seconds leading into the show that really got me amped.
We're upping the production for this last.
It's playoffs. Go ahead, Victor.
Yeah, bittersweet, honestly, to be on the last show.
Don't start crying.
Bittersweet, but I thought I wasn't gonna be on again, but things change.
And they gave you a second life.
They gave me a second life, and I'm happy for the opportunity to be on the final show.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
graduation 2 weeks away.
Wild.
Last NBA podcast you'll ever be on.
I know. Hey.
I don't know.
What about the future?
For school. True.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a special
actually, you could continue this if you want. Just you.
A lot of pressure on you, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
So let's talk about the series so far. I mean, we can start at the top of the East just because they play tonight. Celtics Heat, and I figure we can go down from there. Boston leads 1-0. Heat, no Jimmy Butler. I felt like some people had a feeling that maybe they could take a game, but I'm seeing a Celtics sweep here. I don't see a way for the Heat to win any of these games without Jimmy.
Just for how successful. Sorry, I slammed the water bottle. My bad. I don't necessarily think this is a shock to anyone by saying this, but I mean, if the Heat don't steal a game here, I think the series is over because Boston's just too good of a team, right? I don't expect it to be like, oh, Celtics win the first two at home and then the Heat steal the next two on the road. Like, that's just not going to happen. So if you don't steal a game here, that's just really tough for you. I think not having Butler is kind of the nail in the coffin. Just makes it so hard with the weapons that the Celtics have, and they've been so good at home that it's like, what are you going to do? You can't let them get back to home with like needing one game to clinch it.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. Is this team lost 4 games at home all year?
Yeah.
Like it's even if the Heat do get one at home for themselves, like I don't see a world where they really make this series competitive. They just don't match up well with this team. They just have too many weapons, and obviously just they don't have their guy in Jimmy. And like Bam's great. He's a very talented player. He can run the offense when Jimmy's out, but it's not playoff winning basketball.
Yeah.
So honestly, as we expected, probably one of the more underwhelming series. But I think it's a Celtics in 4 or 5 here.
Almost even more underwhelming. Moving down the East, Cavs Magic. The NBA TV special. We got a lot of series to go through. We may as well just go through them in order. Cavs up 2-0. Nothing exciting happening in this series. You said Jalen Suggs got hurt.
Yeah.
This Magic team, they just don't really have any answers for the Cavs. They don't match up well. I think their season ends here. Maybe they take a game or two at home. They've had a good home record all year. I think the Cavs are just going to walk away with this one and play the Celtics in the next round.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before the series. Donovan Mitchell is by far the most experienced player in this series, and also the Cavs defense has been elite all year. It's easy to say, they're dominating because of the 2 home games, but this Magic team they don't look to have that spark that they had in the regular season, and I just don't think that they'll be enough to take the series.
Yeah, kind of an update on Suggs. So, Suggs was able to come back into the game after that left knee strain. And then kind of the further update is that as of today, he was able to practice, basically what the Magic said. But yeah, I don't know. This has been honestly the most boring series of the playoffs. I mean, neither team has been able to reach 100 points. What are we doing?
The Magic haven't cracked 90 yet.
Yeah, no. You came in there with a baseball bat. You came around the corner with that, dude. That was a one
out of left field
for the ages. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but it's been so. Oh my God, it's just been so underwhelming. It's like, God, no.
There's a reason it's on NBA TV.
I mean, we'll kind of see. The Magic,
it'd be cool to see them
Yeah,
steal the
I
next
mean,
game, like make it fun or something. Like I would love to see that. I think it's possible, but like even if the Magic do take both these games at home, the Cavs just look far and away. God bless you, Post. God bless you. He's having a sneezing attack.
Yeah.
We're feeling silly.
Yeah, we are.
Continue.
We gotta reel it
I was
in.
hoping he would like mute me or something.
No, I don't. It gets a little confusing here with the buttons.
But yeah, like even if the Magic take these two at home, like the Cavs just look like far and better, like the better team. And like I said, Donovan Mitchell's the best player in this series, and more often than not, when you're up 2-0 with the best player, you're probably going to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, to be up 2-0 in a series is just such a big advantage. And it's like the Magic offense looks awful. And it's kind of the same thing where they have to win both two at home to really have a chance, in my opinion. I would think it would be remarkable if they somehow can turn this around. I don't see it at all. You know, Jalen Suggs, him being able to return, but, maybe there's he's still questionable. That doesn't really help your depth at all.
Mhm.
And it's just been so overlooked because I think that everybody knows that whichever team wins the series are just going to get rolled by the Celtics. I mean, everybody is the big question of the playoffs is, are the Celtics going to choke? But we're probably not going to see that in the semifinals right there. We're going to see it in the East Finals, whoever makes it out of the bottom. Cavaliers were kind of playing some sketchy basketball as of late, but, they found it, and I just think that the Magic are just off. And I think that not having that playoff experience is kind of burning them right now.
Yeah, I agree. That series isn't anything too exciting, but moving down one, Bucks Pacers 3-6, 1-1 series. Pretty big win yesterday for the Pacers. Pascal had a playoff career high 37. They were the first away team to win a game in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, I got a quick question with the Pacers. After the All-Star break, Tyrese Halliburton hasn't really been performing as he was beforehand. Would you guys say now that Siakam is now the star of the Pacers, or because Halliburton's been kind of in a slump lately? Do you think Halliburton needs to step up his game in order to take this series over the Bucks, or do you think Siakam just needs to keep doing what he's doing and maybe he can put his name as a star of the Pacers?
I think it's got to be a mix of both.
Yeah.
I think Siakam, it's really showing the experience that he has, and this is an amazing trade in the middle of the season to pick up a guy that has championship pedigree, that's been to the playoffs before, even if he wasn't the best player. But I think Tyrese is still just kind of getting his feeling in him. Although his points per game did drop in the second half of the season, I think he just needs to be more aggressive. You're the guy. Go out there, take more shots. Do your thing. And it's kind of interesting because last night, a lot of their role players knocked down shots. In game one, they didn't. And now they're going back home where their role players, their young guys, are going to be more comfortable, especially a guy like Tyrese. Maybe this is one of these two games is the game where he has his breakout playoff performance. And the Pacers are scary. We've a team that's been on our radar all year. And Siakam is just really being that consistent playoff X factor for them.
Yeah, I kind of have two things. I want to go back quickly to Cavs Magic. Just I
Look
know.
at this
Why?
I know. I'm just saying. I wanted to just clarify something that I was saying when I was talking about Suggs. Is that, and it was kind of to your point about Donovan Mitchell. Is that Suggs, when he came back in the game, second half, he led a rally, in the fourth quarter. But as soon as Donovan Mitchell checks back in, everything's okay. And I think that's just going to be the name of the game for the series. I feel like I was a little too vague talking about Suggs. He thinks he'll be good to go for Thursday. Obviously, he's practicing today. So just wanted to add kind of a further analysis to that. But now moving to the Pacers, no, dude, the Pacers are not scary at all. I'm so
win the
sorry.
series
I'm so sorry, but it's oh my God. If Damian Lillard torches you game one, and sure, they steal one back with Siakam playing well. It's the Bucks don't have Giannis. It almost looks like if the Bucks have Giannis, that they win this series 4-1, no problem.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. I'm talking about this series specifically, where Giannis is probably not going to. We don't think he's going to be back for the series, or we don't know. We honestly don't know. And what's it gonna look like if you plug him in at game 6 or at game 7?
Oh, fine.
And,
I think fine.
I agree with you, but it's hard to just switch up everything you've done. Is Dame gonna keep torching, like when Giannis gets put back in the lineup and he's got to take away some of his touches. They're 100% a better team on paper. They have more experience. They have better players. Everything points towards the Bucks, but this game getting stolen at home by the Pacers is a huge deal in my opinion, because if now they win these next 2 games, they're up 3-1 at home, and I think it's very possible. But I agree, Dame is dangerous. The Bucks are dangerous. I don't think the Pacers are like dangerous to go on a sleeper run, but I think this series alone, they could push this to 6 or 7 games. I don't think that's like a question.
It's not like Dame had like 5 yesterday. He still had 34, and the Bucks lost by 20. So it's
I know. Yeah, so that I do obviously have to reference that, a week ago or however long ago it was, I did say that I thought that the Pacers could win this series. And I did think that they would play well at home. So it's so important to steal a game. I just think if you're a Pacers fan, obviously the Bucks are supposed to win this series. It's just, I think it needed to happen in a little bit of a different way. I just think that with Giannis out, Pacers just can't get towards.
What do you mean by a different way?
I just don't. I don't think it has, or I don't think it leads to any hope for the rest of the series that Dame torched them game 1. I think it would have been a different story if you kind of just come up a little bit short. You did your best. You held Dame as much as he could, or as much as you could against him. But it's just, that's kind of a tough outlook. It's Giannis is expected to be back Friday. We don't really know if that's going to happen or not. But I don't know.
I feel like, Dame had 35 in game 1, 34 in game 2. He was team worst -6 on the floor in game 1 and -24 in game 2. I almost feel like it's not even on Dame. Like he's putting up 30. I think the Pacers are the highest scoring team in the league. They have been all season long. If Siakam can continue to step up, he hit 3 threes yesterday. That's not like normal for a Siakam. I think it's more of an outlier for him. But if he can continue to step up, he is an all-star. He was an all-star last year. It's not even like it was that long ago. I think there's a world where Siakam, is the Pacers' best player, and Halliburton is like the 1B on this team.
I think maybe in terms of this series, Pacers could be okay. I don't think the outlook is good at all. To your point about them being scary, I just think that for how much of a dogfight the Knicks and the 76ers series has been, that both those teams, they kind of look great. And I feel like they and I feel like they go toe-to-toe with the Bucks, and honestly could even wipe the Pacers based on how they play. Some people might say that, having a first-round dogfight can really wear teams out.
Yeah.
And certainly, with Embiid's knee, sure. But
he's gotta get his
I don't know.
Listen, I totally understand your point.
We're getting to that series next.
Yeah, we're getting that series next.
Does it make sense? I don't know. I feel like what I'm saying about this Pacers, because I know I'm going back.
I get your point. This team, in my opinion, is too young to make a deep run. I agree. Yes, I agree with you on that sense. I'm talking specifically for this series, and we could say Dame's torching them. Obviously he's going off, but another thing that we've also mentioned all season is this Pacers team. They try to outscore you. They shoot in 7 seconds or less. They put up shots. Dame's going to touch the ball a lot. He's going to get a lot of touches. His point totals are going to be up. And I'm not saying Dame is playing I'm not saying Dame isn't playing well. I'm just saying this is the reason why stats are inflated, because the Pacers run up and down the floor, and so Dame just comes back and shoots threes, they literally blitz him on the catch. So he passes or shoots a 3, one of the two, and it forces them to play on quick pace also. And I think last night that played to their advantage. They were able to outscore the Bucks.
I think winning one series is ultimately a pretty big success for the Pacers. This is the first playoff game they've won since 2018, and if they win the series, it's their first since 2014.
Yeah.
So nearly 10 years since their last playoff series win. And I think getting just one series win, even if hypothetically they get swept by the Knicks or the Sixers in the next round, which I think is probably pretty likely.
It's very possible.
A 5-game series is probably pretty likely. I think just getting that one series win under your belt is a pretty big success. Next year you could win 2 series, and then there you're in the conference finals.
I just think the recipe around beating this Bucks team is similar to what the Pacers play. The Bucks team without Giannis is similar to what the Pacers play. I don't think this Pacers team is a threat to make the Western Conference Finals. I just think that they honestly, match up kind of well against this Bucks team, and going
Yeah.
home at 1-1.
It's just
it's a little worrisome for the Bucks.
Yeah, it's definitely worrisome. I feel like this is just a really difficult kind of series to describe from what I'm saying, because I did say before that if the Pacers, without Giannis playing, if the Pacers 1-1 to go home with the 1-1, like the series tied, that they would have a good shot to obviously steal it. But I don't know. I feel like there's just a vibe about this series.
The Pacers are favored by 5.5 points the next game.
No, I know
Yeah. And they probably will
Don't get me wrong,
It's really
serious.
weird. It's
Yeah.
really weird because the Pacers are favored at home. They just won by a bigger margin than they lost in the first game. So I totally get that. I don't know. I understand that,
I'm playing devil's advocate here because I do think the Bucks are going to win this series.
No,
I'm playing.
I don't.
devil's
I
think the Pacers
understand.
are gonna
It's-
win. I think they got it.
I think it's tough because
Getting one on the road is big.
It's huge.
for
That's-
confidence,
that's what I'm saying,
especially.
yeah.
yeah, I mean, the reason I'm saying it's tough is just because it's like, okay, to go against my point, then what would the Pacers have to do for me to feel better? Win 140 to 108? Like it's not reasonable. I
Mhm.
just think that I don't know if Pascal Siakam going off is sustainable for this Pacers team, especially when
That's a good
Giannis
point.
gets back.
Mhm.
Again, I know they're not favored if Giannis comes back,
Yeah.
and I think that people should realize that. I just think that with how effective Damian Lillard was in the first game, we've seen him do that before. I
Yeah.
think he can do it again.
Mhm.
I think it was just kind of an anomaly for Pascal Siakam.
Okay.
I think he's a great player in the playoffs. I think he averaged before this like close to 23 points per game in the playoffs
Yeah.
or whatever. I mean,
And that was just his second option.
yeah,
That's a
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So, I'm also
so-
questioning, is this an anomaly or is it not?
I just don't think it's sustainable for the Pacers. I don't know. 125 is a lot. They definitely scored.
They averaged 120 points a game this season.
I know.
It's not like
for the playoffs, though, it feels like a
Yeah.
lot.
I'm
they were
just
only
saying.
they were only off
I'm just
on
saying it.
Milwaukee
Where's
by
the-
2 games. Like
where's-
they almost won the division.
Where's the camera at? I don't know where the camera's
It's up
at.
It's that one, right?
That one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I feel like it's just on vibes. That's all I gotta say. I don't know.
On vibes, we're picking the 3 seed over the 6 seed. On vibes. Because
I don't know.
I'm taking the Pacers. I think they still got it.
You gotta look
Something
into the
about it.
camera and say
Oh.
that.
Okay, but it is different though.
Pacers still
because
got it.
because the 3 doesn't have Giannis.
that is true.
All right,
I
can
know.
we-
All right,
let's get it moving.
let's move on to the better
I just had like
series.
this weird
No,
inner conversation with myself for 10 minutes, going back on what I said, but then convincing myself that what I said just now is right.
let's not predict. Let's just enjoy.
I-
All right.
It's good basketball.
I tend to do so.
Let's-
Come on.
So-
Let's move on. Right on back to Cavs Magic.
All right. All right.
Knicks Sixers.
Okay, then I'm saying this then. Bucks 4-2.
I think the Pacers probably win 4-1. I think that's
4-1.
What
Yeah,
are
I
you-
think-
Wow.
That's
So
Now
I
it's
just
going home.
Joe, I did not think we were
just,
going to come here and talk all this Bucks.
I think
I know it's a
they're
good
going
series.
home
I
now.
still got clowned on by you,
I think they're winning
everybody,
the whole thing.
but you too, about how I
never
just
said they
went
weren't
in
gonna
a
win the
rotating
series.
circle in my
No, he's just
consciousness
saying-
for
I
10
said the
minutes,
Pacers-
and you just said that
the
the
Pacers
Pacers
are
are
gonna
going to
win the
win
series.
4-1.
Yeah, the Pacers are going to win the series. They're going home now, and they have to win one more game on the road, I guess. But so I guess maybe like 4-2.
No,
Fine.
don't.
No, you know what?
They don't have to win another. Oh, well,
Yeah,
to
no,
win
yeah,
4-1.
yeah,
To
yeah.
win 4-1.
All right, I say
Look, if
4-2
they could
Bucks.
win every game at home and win the
Ethan
series,
says
I thought you were talking about just
4-2
winning the series.
Pacers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
4
thought
to
you
2,
were talking
4 to 2, 4 to 2.
I say the other way,
Yeah.
and Victor's just here for the vibes.
I'm just here
He's
to
here to
enjoy the
mediate.
basketball
He's here to
because
mediate.
I like both these teams, honestly, I do, and they're fun to watch. So it's hard for me to predict. If I were to make a prediction, I would say the Bucks based on the Giannis information. I think this is going to go back to Milwaukee 2-2. That's my take.
Yeah.
I think this will go back to Milwaukee 2-2.
No.
All right,
All right, let's move on.
good talk.
Some hometown teams in here. Knicks Sixers. Knicks are up 2-0. They had a big win. Dante DiVincenzo hitting a game winner, a double bang from Mike
bang.
Brown.
Well deserved.
That was.
Did you also
wild.
notice how similar the call was to the LeBron Ray Allen? Did you guys not?
No, I
It was
didn't
like,
see
I feel like the
DiVincenzo the shot, Hardenstein won't go. Hardenstein the rebound.
Oh,
it was-
really?
That's how.
maybe
He wasn't
maybe
back
this-
out to
cool,
DiVincenzo.
Maybe this is my
Isaiah
homework.
Hardenstein
My
was
homework is to
Bosh.
go compare the
Should
scores.
I
Yeah.
play it?
All right, do it.
that. Whoa,
Keep
the
talking. keep
copyright.
talking.
Viva
I, Yeah, no, the Knicks are up 2-0. The last game had its fair share of questionable calls
That was wild.
all around a missed timeout call by the refs.
Yeah.
A lot of different things happened in that game. The NBA came out. They said they missed a call on the Maxey to end the game.
Yeah.
But overall, just a really incredible series. And Embiid did play nearly like the entire game, so he seems fine now. Even though he had some weird eye thing that I was not entirely sure was going on.
Oh yeah, every time he blinked, his
Yeah.
left eye couldn't blink.
It looks like he has some problem with his eyes, but he played 39 minutes. He seems totally fine now. He put up 34. And this series goes back to Philly.
I mean, this one.
Knicks up 2-0, which is
I'll
pretty
play
big.
this clip real quick and
All
then
right,
I'll
all right,
talk
play.
because this is cool.
2-point game. Maxey hits the deck. Hart takes it from him. Shot clock is off. DiVincenzo, no. Hartenstein with an offensive rebound.
Oh wait, this is the.
Another chance here. DiVincenzo.
There it is. There-
That wasn't the bang.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't the bang. Hold on.
it wasn't the bang.
It wasn't the bang. That was the wrong one. My bad, guys.
Come on.
Good.
Come on.
Good. Wait, here it is.
On the 24, DiVincenzo shot. 2-point game. Oh, knocked loose. And Maxey gets knocked down. Hart takes it away. Out top to DiVincenzo. His shot. Won't go. Hartenstein the rebound. Hartenstein gets it out to Anunoby. DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a 1-point lead with 13.
Mike Breen never fails.
John
Never fails.
Never fails.
Never fails. But this series has been a dogfight, and the Knicks are extremely lucky to be up 2-0. Yes, you disagree?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just
Oh,
saying
no,
what
that
I've been
disagreement?
repeating to myself, like wild finish just in my head, like for the past 3 minutes.
That is one of the best playoff endings I've seen in a while. Like 8 points in 1 minute. Like that's something like out of a movie. Like honestly, for
It's
Knicks,
it's just unreal. It's honestly unreal what happened. Basically, 30 seconds to go. What, Knicks were down by 5?
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson takes a 3, and he's not been playing well in this series. but-
how does that ball go in?
no. The ball bounces off the front of the rim and somehow still goes in.
I don't know if I've ever seen an NBA shot like actually go in like that.
I know. So now it's 101 to 99. 76ers still lead.
27 seconds.
Yeah,
left.
27 seconds left. On the inbound, Maxey gets absolutely hacked. Also calls for a timeout. Refs don't give it to him.
Yeah. So did Nick Nurse.
So Knicks get the steal. DiVincenzo goes for the 3, as heard on the call. Misses it. Huge rebound. Gets another one, top of the key, and hits it. And that's the game.
Knicks are hot. I mean,
But just what a wild finish. And honestly,
they're good.
that game, 76ers should have won.
Yeah.
I saw the angle of Maxey where he had control of the ball on the ground, and that he was calling. Nurse was signaling for a
Yeah.
timeout. They didn't give it to him. Should have been a 76ers timeout. They still would have had the lead. Maybe not certain, but that probably are winning that game. Just I guess you got to give credit to the rebound and for DiVincenzo getting a second chance. But I mean, kind of lucky for the Knicks.
Yeah.
Very
I
very
think
lucky.
very
for the
lucky
Knicks.
for the Knicks.
With
Very
1
lucky
minute
for the
left,
Knicks.
with 1 minute left, ESPN had Philly winning 88%.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's like
And
That's a
honestly,
little less than I
it probably should have
expected.
been higher.
Yeah.
Honestly.
yeah.
No. I mean, this is kind of tough. I mean, I have so much confidence that the 76ers are taking game 3. Wow, what a shock. Back at home. Whatever. But,
Embiid always puts on a show. in
but I
Philly.
don't but I don't think that there's honestly, I would not be surprised if Philly takes the next 2. I know that we've kind of been up and down, or just we don't really know for any of the series if a team is going to be able to, respond by getting 2 at home, such as the Pacers getting 2 at home,
Yeah.
Magic getting 2 at home, Heat as well. I have full confidence that the 76ers can get 2 at home. They played game 1 and game 2 very well.
Mhm.
Granted, Embiid, that knee has been a little bit shaky, but I still think that he went off in game 2
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
It just looked like they couldn't even guard him. And the Knicks just get a lucky finish. I guess that's the game of basketball, at least for the shot going in, not really the timeout call. But for Brunson's shot, that's going to happen. But I don't know. I mean, 76ers seem to be Brunson's kryptonite. they're gonna have a lot. They're gonna have a lot of juice when
Yeah.
they come back home, and the fans know that they need basically games 3 and 4, in my opinion. So I don't know. This is gonna be interesting, but I think it's going back to New York, tied 2 apiece.
I agree. I actually think it's going to go 7, and the Knicks are going to win. The last game is in New York.
Yeah, Game 7 in
Yeah.
the Garden. I mean,
That would be.
I want to give a lot of credit though to Tyrese Maxey. This guy is having a series, in my opinion.
Most
He showed-
improved player.
Yeah, he just won Most Improved Player. I'm a little upset my Kobe White didn't win it.
I don't know how
But-
he won. He's a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Were his stats the most improved? No, but did he make the jump to stardom? Yes, and we usually see that
Yeah.
with this award. And he's backing it up in the playoffs. He's the guy down the stretch for them. The little two-man game he has with Embiid at the end of the game is one of the most desirable end game like setups that you could have.
I mean, it's definitely concerning for the 76ers that it's basically just the Embiid Maxey show, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
yeah.
But I do agree. I mean, 30.
Hey, they got
Tobias
Tobias
over
Harris.
me. Tobias over me.
Max contract Tobias Harris. What do you have? He had 10
It was-
points in the last game. Wow.
9
Maxey
rebounds.
getting
Almost a
33
double
points
double.
game 1, 35 points
Shot
game
4 of
2. Yeah, and he also 10 assists. Oh my god, he almost had a triple.
They only ran
Maxey
8
almost had a
men
triple
too.
double
Yeah.
too. He had 35 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists.
Yeah.
I think that I think that for how well Embiid and Maxey played in game 2, it's just they're gonna be comfortable at home,
How
and
much
it's just
better
gonna
can they
unravel.
play though?
No, I
How
agree.
much better
No, I
can they
agree.
play? Like maybe the role players will knock down a few more shots here and there, but again, I said this on the last podcast. I'm waiting for the Jalen Brunson game. Like it's gonna happen, and
Do you think so?
if it's gonna happen in this
I don't
series,
know.
He shot 8 for 29.
I know he's not shooting well, but I know he's gonna he's gonna have his game in the series,
Okay.
and I very well think it could be
It'll
one of
probably-
these next 2.
I don't
No.
think
On the
He'll
road.
probably be back at home.
You know what
This is
it
a
could
hot
be,
take.
though?
I know it is.
It's gonna
I
be
know
game
it is.
5 back at home.
It's a hot take. I know
You
it
know what
is.
it is,
But
though?
if he does this one of these next 2 games, like this Knicks team, like I think is the biggest competition for the
Oh,
Celtics. If Brunson shows that he can do it on the road, like and have that game on the road and like be that like series deciding factor, like and like make a statement like that, I think that team is the most like set up to beat the
if
Celtics.
the
100%.
Knicks steal one of these 2 on the road, the series is over.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I
It's
do
3-0 or
think I do
3-1,
think that
right?
Philly's gonna even it up 2-2. But I don't think that game 5 is gonna be the Brunson game because I think it's gonna be game 7.
Saving it.
Yeah,
I
no,
think you're just
genuinely.
praying for some dramatic. I'm kidding. Yo,
Where's that
so you-
camera? Man doesn't want to see a game 7 in the Garden.
no, obviously, I'd love to see a game 7 in the Garden. I just wish I was home for it.
I just think that game 5
May 4th if it happens.
game 5 would be like too early for it almost because it's like
Too early.
because if Maxey and Embiid
Brunson, wait to go off. Like, not yet. Like, chill.
Give
if
it a
Maxey
second.
and Embiid go off
Take a little
in
breather.
Philly and it's like, oh, there's nothing that we can do. I mean, that's kind of brutal for the Knicks to have to come back home, series tied 2-2. Maxey and Embiid play well at home. They have to in order to even the series. You know, it can be a little weary on the players. That's why I think it's going to be a game 7 because Brunson wouldn't have enough time to get his footing for game 5. And then also you have to travel for game 6. So game 7.
All right, it's barely travel, but sure.
Can we talk about Buddy Hield? Like, what happened to this guy? This guy fell off the face of the earth since he's been traded to this team. I thought he was going to be a good piece where he could maybe be
Yeah.
a shooter or something, but he's actually been a complete non-factor.
Complete
complete non-factor. Like,
That's the way you say
They've got nothing from their bench. After Batum went off against the Heat, I mean, he played 33 minutes in this game
Yeah.
and had 6 points.
yeah, like
Yeah.
why is he only shooting 5 shots, bro? You
I don't
just
know.
went off. Like the shot distribution on this team is very questionable, in my opinion. Like Tobias Harris, man, like you gotta figure it out, bro. Like you gotta figure it out.
You tell him. You tell him, man.
I think Mitchell Robinson is a huge factor for the Knicks, and as this series continues and he starts to play more minutes,
Yep.
I mean, he's doing the best that he can.
I thought he played really well.
I
on
think
the team.
I think he's playing well, and
I
his
think so
thing is
too.
staying
Plus
out of
2.
foul trouble. Like that's it. He's got to stay out of foul trouble, and I feel like he's been doing.
I mean, okay, and in all honesty, Embiid cannot be shooting 2 for 8, 2 for 9 from 3 in the first 2 games.
That's also
Come
true.
on.
That's also.
So you're
true.
not just going to win
But
games doing that.
at home, he's gonna hit those. Like he does
Yeah.
that in the play. At home, he's gonna hit those.
He just can't be doing that. I mean, 12 for 29.
He's rattled, by the way. He's like crying after the series. He said that loss was worse than the Raptors loss.
That's crazy.
He's
man.
rattled.
Okay, well, it's also been
Brunson game 3 or
That's a
4.
wild loss.
okay, but it's also been tough for him coming back from the injury. Mentally, that took a toll. But yeah, I mean, I think that 12 for 29, like obviously it's not most efficient. So like Mitchell Robinson, that's why I say he's doing the best that he can. But I just like in Philly, like there's no way. Like Embiid's just not going to be stopped in Philly. Same with Tyrese Maxey because they need some comfortability in this series, and they're going to get it, and they're going to thrive because of it.
I mean, Oubre had
And I'm
4
shocked
in
the line's
last
only
game.
4.
Yeah, Oubre had 4 in the last game. I feel like they could get more out of him. That probably would be the little bit
Although
pushing over the edge.
I said this on Monday's show. I am really impressed with his effort on defense, which is something that he has never done in his career.
Yeah.
And he's really been putting the effort on that end. So shout out to him for that.
Isaiah Hartenstein didn't get so much money this offseason.
Yeah. And
So much money.
well deserved. Well,
Yeah.
he's a great true big for them.
Won't be from the Knicks, I don't think. I think he's gonna win.
I can see that. Because they have a
Yeah.
lot of guys kind of that now they have
I think
to
Mitchell
do.
Robinson is essentially the same, but he's gonna get a lot of money from someone.
Mhm.
All right.
One last thing
Anything
I want
else?
to mention about this series, kind of not really about the series, but did you guys see the thing where like the Nova like Knicks podcast or whatever, how they talked about how DiVincenzo and Brunson used to bond in college over hating Josh Hart? Did you see this?
Really?
No.
No.
Fun. So I'll tell the story really quick. Basically, DiVincenzo was like a transfer in, and like and him and Brunson just bonded over literally thinking Josh Hart was the most annoying person ever.
Oh my gosh.
And Josh Hart would be like just cocky and say just out of pocket stuff and like whatever. And one time it actually got so bad that they got into an altercation where DiVincenzo swung a 10-pound weight at Josh Hart and it missed, thankfully. But Brunson said he wouldn't repeat what Josh Hart said to him, but he thinks the weight, he probably deserved to get hit.
Oh,
my
goodness.
gosh.
Yeah. And I think it's just crazy that those guys went from not only winning a national championship together through all that, and now they have a podcast together. They're vibing. They're matured.
That's
like
crazy.
they're winning playoff games.
Yeah.
Like these kids from that went to Villanova that were just like little, I don't know, like kids. Like are now like I don't even know how to describe it.
Sound like a proud dad.
Just bonding over like how someone was annoying. Like and now they're just matured. People who could be teammates and win in the NBA as well.
In a wild finish.
Yeah.
I keep
All right.
saying that.
Let's take it out west. Out west. Let's start 1 versus 8. Thunder Pelicans.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't even watch the first 10 minutes. I had to turn it off.
It was a good
That
game.
was just
Really?
Didn't it come down to what? Yeah.
We've only had one game so far.
yeah, but it was like there's like no scoring in the
Oh
first,
yeah,
the
no,
first
there
10
wasn't a lot of
minutes.
scoring in the first 10 minutes. Like I think it
It was brick
speaks to
after
the
brick.
inexperience of
Yeah,
these
I mean
teams.
it's people it's the Thunder trying to, be comfortable.
yeah.
Some
Yeah.
of that taking time.
Chet Holmgren had a 3 to start.
I mean,
and then did like
And then every single team like
Yeah.
brick the next shot in the next 10 minutes. But no, it's just people getting adjusted. Thunder are young, it's fine, but yeah.
Shea looked
I mean,
good.
obviously 94-92, so
Yeah,
it did have a good finish, just not a lot of scoring. But
Mm.
Shea was really good,
I'm a little.
Yeah.
This team needs Zion. If they have Zion, I think they win this series without a doubt. Like
Yeah.
I don't.
Interesting.
I like without a doubt based on game 1. That might be like what's it called? Like an overreaction based on game 1 because I know the Thunder are young and the Pelicans had to play in games to kind of get their feet under them a little bit. But if this team has Zion, like they're not being held to under 100 points. Like they could. Trey Murphy, like that guy could shoot, like Herb Jones could shoot, like Zion is just, I think, like a free 25 inside on this like weak Thunder team. Not like weak in terms of talent, like just weak in terms of bigs inside. Chet's good at blocking, but like, can he hold Zion? Like honestly, like who knows?
Yeah.
But I'd like to see the Thunder come out and play a lot better in this one than they did last game. They obviously didn't play to their potential. I like them as a team, but this is definitely scary for them. That game 1 against the 8 seed came down to the wire.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately the Pelicans can get a lot more out of Brandon Ingram. He did literally nothing. He had 12 points in 37 minutes for a guy that's, supposed to be an all-star-ish level player. He's on a max contract. The Thunder will win this series, and they might even sweep. Although I think the Pelicans could take a game or two.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think this Pelicans team is that good at all. With
That's
that
fair.
Zion. And
Maybe
he's
I'm
not-
overreacting the game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think Zion's coming back, but just they're playing down to their competition. It's a low scoring game.
Mhm.
I think the Thunder will be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, only in a 1-game sample size, it's kind of tough. I think we need to give the Thunder some credit. Obviously, a very close finish in game 1, a little worrisome for Thunder fans, but I don't know. I did have full confidence that whatever team came out of Mavs Clippers would beat the Thunder,
Mhm.
but I don't really know yet. I think it's a little too early to tell. Shea had 28 points. They could easily rely on him. It could backfire with teams just shutting him down. But I mean, Jalen Williams, 20 points, kind of,
He played great.
Yeah,
He played really well.
that's what you're supposed to get out of him. Chet, I think, in my opinion, has to score a little bit more than 15.
Mhm. Although he had the big block at the end.
He did, yeah. I mean, it's not all just
They
offense.
kind of all
stuff,
did like their little thing. Like,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
cute. Like,
They're so little.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that Thunder players, as you said,
Sir Josh
They-
Giddey joke.
they just
Oh my god,
Okay.
dude.
Bleep
No,
him out.
no.
Bleep him out.
we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Anyway, yeah, I think that the Thunder, everybody kind of did their roles, but I think they got to get it going more offensively, and they won't be able to compete with other teams in the 4-5. But I don't know. We'll see. It's a little too early. And again, for being the team that led the West, I think this is honestly kind of one of the more overlooked series,
Yeah.
kind of for good reason too. But whatever. I mean, that's kind of what you get out of the 1-8. It's the same way with the Celtics Heat.
Yeah.
So
All right, let's move on down to Clippers Mavs 1-1 series. Yeah, really good series so far. Luka showed up. They beat Clippers in the last series, even though Kawhi came back. They 23-8 run to end the game. Just played much better than they did in game 1, and I think this series could go to 7-2. I think this is a really good series, and I still think whoever wins this series could win the entire thing.
Yeah, this is one we talked about before possibly being the best series the first round, maybe even one of the better ones in the playoffs because of the talent on these two teams. Last night was huge for the Mavs. They needed to steal one of the games on the road, in my opinion, because I feel like these teams are not really the teams where home court weighs a ton just because of how talented they are. Like they could both win in any situation. So now if you're the Mavs, you're feeling good going back 1-1. You're in position. You stole one at home. Get yours at home, and then try to close out the series.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I do think it was a very interesting start to the series, not necessarily factoring in last night's game, just because there's a lot of frustration by both teams to themselves, kind of inner frustration from both teams when it first started out. But yeah, no, Clippers took the first punch, Mavericks punch back. Would not be surprised to see it 2-2 going back to LA. But I don't know. I still do think, as I did say, last week or whatever, that I do think that the Mavericks do have the edge.
I agree. And my hot take
so.
before the playoffs was that, hot take, I got put on the spot also, is that this Mavs could be the finals team out of the West.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
very
I think,
possible.
yeah. I mean, and that's, I don't know.
I'm not saying they're going to the finals because they have an awful first round draw. This is a great 4 seed. But if they get past this team, they might just get rolling, and they might just, they don't have to run into the Nuggets potentially, which is huge for them until the Western Conference Finals maybe. Just a lot looks good for them if they win this series.
Yeah, I mean, Kawhi did not look that fantastic in his return, and Harden also fell off just a bit from his game 1, where I thought he played actually really well.
Really,
in game
really
1.
well, yeah.
We saw more of normal playoff Harden here.
I don't think I necessarily shot 6 of 14.
Yeah,
it was 2 of 10 from 3, but yeah. All right, fair enough.
I actually think the Mavs could get even more out of Kyrie. Only 23 from him, not many assists, only 3 assists on the day. I think the Mavs get more from Kyrie, the same out of Luka. Luka came off the floor for 2 minutes in the entire game.
Luka's defense, I don't know if y'all saw, but that man's he pickpocketed Paul George twice.
Yeah, he's pretty savvy.
And
he might not be as athletic, but he's savvy when it matters.
yeah,
a big 3 steals out of Kyrie too. I think this Mavs team, they've got a lot of talent, and if they can take down the Clippers here, the sky's the limit. I don't think there's any.
I agree.
stopping them.
Both these teams are dangerous, and they just have to take it because they'll probably draw the Thunder next round, and I don't think you could ask for a better 1 seed to match up against.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's continue on down to Timberwolves Suns. Timberwolves took a 2-0 lead. They look incredible. Suns, they look terrible. I actually think the Suns just gonna roll over. Like I think the Suns are done. Like I don't know if they win a single game here.
Sweep by the Wolves.
Well,
Yeah, I think the Suns are giving up.
Why are they so
No,
washed?
No,
I
and
don't know.
and
Why
I
are
just
they
like
so
They
washed?
look like they're just like done.
I don't understand.
and going to Ethan's point, I think that was kind of the biggest thing is that certainly I thought that, after Anthony Edwards is in the face, or not in the face, but, pounding his chest at Kevin Durant and Durant didn't even play that poorly either. It's just like, I thought that the Suns and Durant might be able to respond. But I mean,
Ant did nothing yesterday. And they
no,
still won.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just
they got Jaden McDaniels.
Jaden McDaniels, got like 25 points. Anthony Edwards only shot like 3 for 12 from the field. I mean, that's just brutal. And I think if you're the Suns, the great thing about Anthony Edwards is that, he also does command a lot of attention.
Mhm.
So I think that, you always have to worry about him. And a guy like Jaden McDaniels can step up, and he did. But I mean, if you're the Suns, and again, the Timberwolves has so many pieces but if you're the Suns, I mean, you just can't lose a game that Anthony Edwards shoots 3 for 12. And not in this instance, not when you have a chance to steal a game before you go back home. I think that was the test. If they would just roll over after the first game, and they failed miserably, in my opinion. So yeah, I think they're going to roll over. I think that Minnesota, they might lose game 3, but they're going to pick up 4 and then win it. Like 4-1, no problem.
I mean, the Suns were up 8 at a point, and then the Timberwolves just like turned it on. They went.
And the Timberwolves were the underdog in this series, by the way.
They were.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the Timberwolves went on a 43-27 run in the second, like from the second to the third, and that was it.
Yeah, I want to mention this. Like, I know Anthony Edwards didn't have the best game last night, but I think we're witnessing a star in the making. Like, obviously, that's not a crazy take, but like a legit superstar. This guy is elite on both ends. Like, it's not just on his impact might not have been as big on offense last night, but was huge on defense. He had 3 steals. I've watched him multiple times, like take a shot, set up a player, and then go down the other end and make a defensive stop. Like, if you have a guard that could guard the other team's best player and also give you 30. I mean, that's and he's cold. Like, and this guy doesn't care. Like, he'll talk to Kevin Durant in his first ever playoff game. Like, he's got that, maybe it's Jordan's son. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah.
But it looks like him.
But this guy's got an attitude, and I like that a lot about him. And he gives off superstar vibes.
I mean, like if you told me that Ant shot 3 for 12 in a game and Towns had 4 fouls and only took 7 shots in a game, like you would assume the Timberwolves lost probably by a lot too, probably by like 20. But no, like they pulled it out. I mean, Jaden McDaniels,
Nickeil Alexander-Walker,
he's been really good.
2 great games.
Yeah,
2 great games.
He's really found a role there, and I mean, we gotta move on.
We gotta move on.
All right. We're moving on. I think
because there's a lot to talk about for this next series.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I will say I think the Timberwolves take it in 5.
I like that.
I agree. I think that the Suns are gonna roll over, and I think that last night was the test. And as you were saying, I mean,
93 points from a team with deep book. Like they both 6 of 15, 6 of 13.
And
these are gross. Like minus 20.
Yeah, and also Beal and Booker didn't have good game 1s either. I just think it's brutal. You could say that getting back to Phoenix, comfortability, whatever, home arena, like, nah, I think it's over.
I agree.
I think it's over. And that's the only series that we've actually said that so far, by the way.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Let's move on. Cavs Magic. Don't forget about that. Cavs Magic's also over.
Nuggets, Lakers.
Yeah, say that.
Nuggets, Lakers, my personal favorite series. These games
greatest
so
sweep ever 2.0.
The Nuggets are just they just don't stop. And I mean the Lakers, I could tell the Lakers they thought they had them, but you just can't like it's a lot like the Chiefs in the playoffs. Like
they're inevitable.
Can't give up.
I am inevitable.
Yeah. Like the Lakers they took their foot off the gas and then they lost it. And Jamal Murray walked it off. I mean, this could be the greatest sweep again.
Yeah, and it might be an even better sweep too. And we talked about it on Monday's podcast that this series we knew it was going to be close games. We knew how competitive it was going to be, but the quality of shots that the Nuggets get at the end of games is just next to none. And I know Jamal Murray won it on like a step back, like whatever. But before that, like it's Jokic layup, it's Jokic gets double pass, it's like Aaron Gordon dunk. It's like the offense comes from everywhere with this team, and they have so many different options. Like Jamal could just take a step back mid range, or Jokic could post up. Like again, similar to the Maxey and Embiid thing, just with better players, in my opinion. It's one of the most desirable duos that you could have in the league.
What an incredible Monday slate too, because
Yeah.
the Knicks game wrapped up in a wild, what we thought was a wild finish, and then the Nuggets with that step back, as you mentioned. I mean, it trailed by what, 15, 17 at
17.
halftime?
20-point
I
comeback.
checked when they're
Yeah.
20-point comeback.
I checked when it was 17. They were plus 390. Almost took it. I wish I did.
I mean, you just like, even if you go to that last 30 seconds, like LeBron was like, oh, D'Lo got fouled. But like,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. LeBron took that three, beginning of the shot clock. He wanted the win. I'm not sure what he was doing. Obviously, if he makes that shot, it's
Well,
a different game.
No, but I mean, I just
He led the charge.
No,
back,
yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah.
Like, he
I
had like 2 threes, like the big layup, big dunk. Like he actually had 4 buckets in like the last like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
and
yeah,
before that.
LeBron.
I get it, but like, you missed that shot.
No, get out of here with that. LeBron was going nuclear. He was the one that made it interesting down the stretch, and was leading the fight, as you
Absolutely.
said. But honestly, similar comparison from Jamal Murray in the Nuggets game to Jalen Brunson in the Knicks game, where Jalen Brunson isn't really doing that well, gets a shot to go. Jamal Murray wasn't playing that well either.
0 for 5 from 3.
He was slipping. It was kind of tough a little bit there for defensively. Yeah, and yet he scores like whatever the team's last 6 points down the stretch. But no, what a wild finish.
Wild finish.
Wild
It was a common theme of
Well, I was-
Monday.
I was yelling at the TV. I was like, Jamal, step back. Jamal, step back. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. He's going off. But yeah, I mean, there's also some concern from another comparison. There's also some concern from the Lakers about the officiating, just like the same way with the 76ers and the officiating. I'm going to say it again. I'm honestly just going to copy my 76ers take that Lakers have played so well in the first 2 games. As good as they can against this Denver Nuggets team.
Maybe not as much a game.
Losing a 20-point comeback, you might think is deflating, and it is. But I don't think this team's going to roll over. I think they're going to be pissed when they get back to LA. They're going to use that as fuel. And I don't know. I mean, if they think that they're getting cheated by the refs, I mean, that's something to point your frustration to. I mean, obviously, they're probably going to take accountability for giving up the lead as well. But no, I think that the Lakers, even though the Nuggets have won the past 10 or whatever, I think the hot take is that the Lakers win both in LA, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a hot take, but it's not out of the question with LeBron.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking at you right now, like you're like the LeBron with the glasses with like the picture where you're like, like no team has ever come back from down 3-1. Like
Denver, I think, is going to win it 4-2. It's not going to be enough for the Lakers to come back. Maybe 4-3, but no, it's going to be 2-2, and then the Nuggets are going to win because it's going to be hard for them to win in Denver.
I don't think the Nuggets lose a game.
Nuggets
yeah.
at 4.
I'm gonna say
No
Nuggets
way,
in
dude.
5. I'm gonna give the Lakers 1 game. I'm gonna give the Lakers.
Are the
one
Lakers going to be favored at home?
No,
game.
I don't think so.
I doubt
Everybody
it.
can look.
Yeah, we could look.
They're not. Denver's favored by 1.5, which is pretty small, but
I think it makes
All right.
sense.
Well, would you seniors like to say anything?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I can yet. I'm still kind of pushing back the emotion until.
This is the last
so
podcast.
much.
Let it go.
Hey, anyway, tonight's games though. Tonight's game: Heat Celtics at 7, Pelicans Thunder 9:30. So yeah, those are games on tonight, and then it's gonna get interesting because Knicks 76ers, Nuggets Lakers tomorrow. But yeah.
Quickly for our last thing, everyone say your like finals predictions since this is our last podcast.
yeah, that's true.
All right.
I will go Nuggets Knicks, and then the Nuggets win in 6.
Timberwolves, Knicks, Timberwolves win the finals.
Wow. I actually do not hate
3 for
that.
3 in the Knicks.
I really wanted to take the Knicks. I really did.
Please.
Just take the Celtics.
Bucks.
You did
Mm.
not.
Okay, never mind.
Bucks.
Why?
You did not.
Oh,
Why?
Bucks, Mavs in 6.
Okay.
Mavs in 7. Hot take, super hot take. If that cashes, it is what it is.
Dude, no
Super hot take. Let's be fun.
All right.
right.
I'll go Mavs and Knicks. Mavs and 6.
Shocker.
Wow.
Shocker.
Shut up, man. This is why I
All right.
produce.
Well, thank you so much for listening to the Make It Take It podcast all semester long. We will see you never again.